Hello, actor Tom Cruise is in the news. He's been shouting at people. If you're in the work environment, if you go into work, you should expect to not have somebody screaming at you, especially if you have absolutely no power, and if you did exercise any sort of individuality and stood up for yourself, the threat of you losing your job is very real. I don't know the rules about employment law, but I do know that if you are junior in the production, even if you're like key grip or in a managerial position and you have a team that you're sort of managing, to have Tom Cruise, not just the actor, but the guy who's producing it, he's doing all the phone calls at night, he's securing the financing, he's doing the insurance work, he is made promises that if you give us the money, if we can get the go-ahead, thank you for letting us have the go-ahead. We promise we will be social distancing and respecting the fact that we're not going to be spreading this thing. That's great, but what about all the other businesses? Let's go straight into listening to this rant he has. He spots a couple of people looking at a computer and they're standing closer than 2 meters apart. There's a bit of swearing in this, but it's all bleeped, and there are subtitles. This is from the Sun newspaper. It says it's a Sun exclusive. He's not going to be very happy that this has been released, but I'll be interested to know what you think. Let's have a bit of a listen, and I'll pause it every now and then, and we'll be able to see and we'll talk about where the rant is going. Let's have a quick listen.
We are the gold standard. You're back there in Hollywood making movies right now because of us. Because they believe in us and what we're doing. I'm on the phone with every studio at night. Insurance companies. Producers. And they're looking at us and using us to make their movies.
Just want to comment on the bit he says there about the gold standard, and I think that's a fair point. If the Mission Impossible production, that's going to be the very best of the very best. It's a AAA movie, as they say in gaming world, AAA. So it is something that you would expect only the very, 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 very best people to be working on it. And it's kind of, for me, because I'm a believer in lockdowns, I know that that's for many people a hateful position to have, but I understand how viruses work. I know if I've got a cold, I wouldn't go near a baby. I know if a baby has a cold, I wouldn't want it near me. But it seems that some people are kind of like, well, let's just all get it. We can't stop. It's going to be an economic nightmare. We have to just carry on as normal, try and do social distancing, but let's just accept that we're all going to get this thing. The very popular view amongst people who don't have elderly parents or who don't have family that you want to be able to be in contact with. It's kind of like, for me, it's a bit of a selfish position, and I don't mean to be nasty or judgmental towards anyone. I mean, you can tell when people are judgmental just by looking at them. Some people can think, well, we're just mates, we came here on the bus together. It's kind of not the point. If the condition for you being allowed to go back to work is that you have to stay 2 meters apart and wear a mask, stay 2 meters apart and wear a mask. Don't smirk about it and feel like it doesn't matter and it doesn't matter to you and like, ha ha ha, we're okay, we're young, we're not going to get anything, and it didn't really mean us. I mean, we work in films, so we could stand quite close together and not be so bothered. I can imagine how that would drive somebody into a rage. But part of the thing about managing people is to not to do what Tom is doing here. I'm not making any apologies for him. Because for somebody in that sort of position of power to be literally screaming at somebody who has no power, punching down, as they say, is not okay. Let's go on with it, see what else he says.
We are creating thousands of jobs, you I don't ever want to see it again. Ever. And if you don't do it, you're fired. And I see you do it again, you're gone. And anyone on this crew does it.
I'm gonna pause there. I'm laughing, but I'm not laughing because of what's happened. I'm laughing because just the power which one person has. Actors and presenters have that. I've worked on a TV show where there was a presenter, I won't say her name, I will identify it as a her, and she used to be a newsreader. That's all I'll say. And there was a runner, and he made a mistake. He did something wrong, and she flew off the handle, and she was screaming at him. But she didn't start screaming at him and I remember like she was telling him off, like, you fool, what have you done? Like this. And then he was smirking at what he had done at her, like this. And that made her flip. So I was kind of like in two minds, because I was kind of like team leader, if you like. And it's kind of like a fake title, because you don't have any power. Nobody has more power than the talent. It used to be a day when you could, and this is why I always prefer working with people who aren't well known, because they just don't turn into complete power freaks, which totally gets in the way of everybody doing everything and anybody feeling good about themselves. I've lost my trail of thought there. Let's go on and see what else he's saying.
That's it! And you too! And you too! And you! Don't you ever do it again! That's it! No apologies! You can tell it to the people that are losing their homes because our industry is shut down. It's not going to put food on their table or pay for their college education. That's what I sleep with every night. In the future of this industry. So I'm sorry, I'm beyond your apologies. I have told you, and now I want it. And if you don't do it, you're out.
I've told you. He's done a bit more than that, hasn't he? He's threatening people, and this is a guy who we all know is got a very interesting other side to him that we don't usually see in the interviews. It doesn't surprise me really that he has this kind of temper. I mean, what? How do you deal with that? You see two people who are breaking the rules, the rules about being on set. I guess the thing to do is stop everybody, and just say to them, you all have to pay attention to the rules. I think this isn't gold standard management, put it that way. Although he's pointing out that we are the gold standard and the way we behave. And he's not behaving in any way approaching gold standard. He is being a bully, and that's not nice. This guy does an amazing job, though. Credit to Tom Cruise. He does his stunts, he does the acting. I don't know how much he's involved in scripting, but I imagine quite a lot. He produces. He organises these things. He finds funding. He gets insurance. He does everything, and he points that out. The guy's probably burning out. I wouldn't be surprised. But it's very difficult when you're a famous person such as him to stay grounded in terms of, everywhere you go, people are offering you something like to aid your comfort. You want a cup of tea, and do you want a cup of coffee? Do you want some food? You just click your fingers and things will appear, when you're that sort of famous. That doesn't happen to average people. And when things don't start to be absolutely as you want them, this is what you get. You get them shouting at you, and they expect it. And they know that you can't say anything back to them. You can't do a thing, because they'll just get rid of you. They will block you, just like on Twitter. You'll be blocked from that production. Out, gone, muted, gone. You see this sort of power in everything, even on a website like Twitch, where they have mods, and you're just an anonymous nobody, and you say anything that's even interpreted as out of line, blocked, muted, out, gone, bye. It's not nice to be not powerful, put it that way. And it's always disappointing when you see people who, you kind of respect them as actors and as producers or whatever, and I like Tom Cruise, but it's kind of disappointing but like this. It's the same when Christian Bale shouted at some lighting guy, because the lighting guy, while Christian Bale was rehearsing, I think it was Batman, a lighting guy continued adjusting lights, walked into his periphery vision and distracted him as he was rehearsing.
I want you off the fucking set, you prick. Sorry. No, don't just be sorry. Think for 1 fucking second. The fuck are you doing? Are you professional or not?
But for me, that's what happens in film and TV sets. While there's rehearsals going on, you're doing your own rehearsal with your lights, your cameras, whatever you're doing. Everyone's rehearsing and adjusting and tweaking. But I think we can all get a little bit complacent and all think we're a little bit too big for our boots. And it takes somebody like this screaming at you for you to realize, oh my God, I have no power whatsoever. And now everyone's looking at me and I feel like this big. Let's keep watching what happens next.
We are not shutting this movie down! Is it understood? If I see it again, you're gone. And so are you.
So, did you hear a yes sir there? Let me just check. Because this is in the UK.
Is it understood? If I see it again, you're gone.
Yeah, it was a yes sir. Bear in mind, this is, it says here this happened in Hearts. So this is UK. Warner Brothers Studios in Leavesden and Hearts. Cruise was furious. All of his efforts to keep filming going during the pandemic could be at risk. I mean, that's a fair point, isn't it? This is it's a big deal to be allowed to continue working when everyone else isn't. It's a massive privilege to have. I don't know why they've got it, by the way. I don't understand that. Why are the media okay to continue? I work in media, and a lot of the shows that I'm sort of applying to work on involve filming everyday people doing their everyday life stuff. So, unfortunately, the work I need or do is not readily available yet until the people are allowed to go out and go about their business. Let's continue on and see what happens next.
And so are you. So you're going to cost him his job. And I see it on the set, you're gone. And you're gone.
There's a threat for you. If you continue doing what you're doing, I'm not only going to have me shout at you, you're going to lose your job, and he's going to lose his job as well. And the whole thing's going to shut down. And you are going to make everyone lose their job. That's everyone then, therefore, coming at you. After this rant, everyone's coming at that person. I'd be interested to see who would come up to you to say, oh, that wasn't right, you shouldn't have spoken to you like that. I bet a lot of people said that to this poor person or people that have been shouted at. It's nice, in a way, there's a little bit of, I'm pleased that it's not just one person been shouted at. I think it's 3 people, maybe 2.
That's it. Am I clear? Do you understand what I want? Do you understand the responsibility that you have? Because I will deal with your reason. And if you can't be reasonable, and I can't deal with your logic, you're fired. That's it.
Well, that's great, isn't it? If I can't deal with your logic, that's it. You're erased from my life. That would be great, wouldn't it? If we could do that in real life. Continue to be paid. Continue to live the life of a millionaire. Multi-millionaire. Thrice over. Triply thrice. Billionaire, maybe. I don't even know. And if I don't agree with your logic, you're gone. That's it. Lucky guy.
That is it. I trust you guys to be here. That's it. That's it, guys.
Shuffling your feet.
That's what I'm thinking about. That's what I'm doing here. I'm talking Universal, Paramount, Warner Brothers. Movies are going because of us. We shut down, it's going to cost people jobs, their homes, their families. That's what's happening. All the way down the line.
He's now playing the card of I'm behaving like this out of compassion for everyone else who isn't here on this set. The whole country. Normal, ordinary people. This is why I'm yelling and freaking out right now.
I care about you guys. If you're not going to help me, you're gone.
Let me just comment on that. I mean, I think there's he's becoming a bit self-aware of how he's being, which is a ranting lunatic, he's totally lost it, and I think he's realised that. So he's calming down. There's a better way of handling this. As I say, get everyone in a room together. Stop. Everyone stop. Let's go and talk, and just go through it with them, and say, I'm not going to say who it was. You know who you are. I am going to have a word with the people who did it, but it'll be quiet. It'll be respectful. And I just don't think some people have realised, but it's not sunk in. And then you do the speech about we're in a very lucky position. Every night I am talking to people about insurance and trying to ensure that we can all be working and making this film. And you can have that conversation. You can have it quietly and sensibly so that people don't feel berated. They feel like they're involved in it. To pick out 2 or 3 people and just rage at them like that, and you're in the position you are, the power you have. I don't really know too much about how the mind of Tom Cruise works, but this is certainly an indicator of somebody who's under a lot of pressure, who has a big ego and can't be touched. Because if there was a Warner Brothers executive in charge of funding, do you think he would shout at him like that? Do you think that Tom Cruise would be shouting at a Hollywood executive who was in charge of funding? I don't think he would be. So why not? It's the same crime.
So you see that stick? How many meters is that? When people are standing around a computer and hanging out around here, what are you doing?
Alright, that's it.
We are the gold standard.
Thanks, Tom. What do you think? And we've seen this before, and I think these are things that go on behind closed doors. I don't know why somebody's recording this, by the way. I bet Mr. Cruise is not too happy about the fact that this was recorded and it's been released to the public. And therefore, it's basically by them releasing it, although they are exposing Tom Cruise for being a bully, they are also telling the people who are funding the movie that the crew are not social distancing properly. Presumably, but that's not provable because all we have is Tom Cruise telling us that that's the case. What do you think? It's quite interesting, isn't it? And this is what television life is like. It is always about power. The big takeaway for me is how producers have no power anymore. We see it all the time, and you see it on radio stations where the presenters talk about their show, my show, coming on my show, my rules, and they make the decisions about what the editorial is going to be, and all major decisions are being made by talent and actors, and not people specifically skilled in those areas of editorial or journalist backgrounds, or and we're having a lot of very weak management. And that's the other thing, by the way. You're never taught how to manage a team. If you work in TV, say you start as a runner and you become an assistant producer, a researcher, assistant producer, a director, whatever. No time along that timeline of promotions does anyone sit you down or put you through a course of how to manage people. But you eventually work your way into a position where you are managing people. So you are. It happened to me at the BBC. I was thrust to be a series producer of a show, and I had no idea about how to manage people. I didn't care. I was like, I'll just be nice. Everyone's, and what do you know? Everyone was nice to me. What do you know? And everyone's nice to me, therefore I'm popular. And of course, you suddenly start realizing, hold on, they've been nice to me because I'm the boss. And I started losing my grip a little bit. It's like, this is not right. So you don't know where the barriers are, you don't know where your boundaries are, and you're just not trained. And it's not your fault. But Tom Cruise should know better. What do you think? Let me know down below. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed that, if it was something that was enjoyable. And I'll be interested to know what you think. I'm sure there'll be more of this type of thing happening in the future. Take care. Bye-bye.